I need to help my students.
We need to stay inside.
But my students will be bored. There's nothing to do in their communities. All they're going to do is play video games and send dumb Snapchat pictures.
There's nothing we can do about that.
How can you say that? What's the matter with you?
This is no teacher land, Diana. It means no teachers can teach right now. This teacher battalion has been here for nearly 2 days and barely shared an inch of education because on the other side of that are video games and cell phones taking up every ounce of students' attention. This is not something we can cross. It's not possible.
So we do nothing.
But we are doing something. We can't educate every student out there. It's not what we came here to do.
No, it's what I'm going to do.
Diana!
Students will keep on learning. Hi kiddos, it's Mrs. Salas. I miss everybody already. I hope you're all doing well. Well, we're going to try and keep this whole class thing going. So I'm going to try to run the Salas Palace just like we run the classroom. So today we are going to take a look at allegories, as we talked about right before we left when I talked 100 miles an hour at you. We talked about how an allegory is a story where the characters and events are symbols representing ideas about human life or political or historical situations. So in order to practice that, I thought we would take a look at a children's book today called The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein. And maybe you've heard of this one or maybe you've read it before. But as I'm reading, what I'm hoping you can do is grab a piece of paper and jot down all of the items in the book that you think might be symbolism for something else. And then at the end, we'll see if you were right. So let's take a look at our story. I'm going to do my best elementary school teacher impression, okay? So bear with me. Once there was a tree, and she loved a little boy. And every day the boy would come, and he would gather her leaves and make them into crowns and play king of the forest. He would climb up her trunk and swing from her branches and eat apples. And they would play hide and go seek. And when he was tired, he would sleep in her shade. And the boy loved the tree very much. And the tree was happy. But time went by. And the boy grew older. And the tree was often alone. Then one day the boy came to the tree, and the tree says, "Come, boy, come and climb up my trunk and swing from my branches and eat apples and play in my shade and be happy. I am too big to climb and play, said the boy. I want to buy things and have fun. I want some money. Rude. Can you give me some money? I'm sorry, said the tree, but I have no money. I have only leaves and apples. Take my apples, boy, and sell them in the city, and then you will have money and you will be happy. And so the boy climbed up the tree and gathered her apples and carried them away, and the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time, and the tree was sad. And then one day the boy came back, and the tree shook with joy as she said, Come, boy, climb up my trunk and swing from my branches and be happy. I am too busy to climb trees, said the boy. I want a house to keep me warm, he said. I want a wife and I want children, and so I need a house. Can you give me a house? I have no house, said the tree. The forest is my house, but you may cut off my branches and build a house, and then you will be happy. So the boy cut off her branches and carried them away to build his house. And the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time. And when he came back, the tree was so happy she could hardly speak. Come, boy, come and play, she whispered. I am too old and sad to play, said the boy. I want a boat that will take me far away from here. Can you give me a boat? Cut down my trunk and make a boat, said the tree. Then you can sail away and be happy. And so the boy cut down her trunk and made a boat and sailed away. And the tree was happy, but not really. And after a long time, the boy came back again. I'm sorry, boy, said the tree. I have nothing left to give you. My apples are gone. My teeth are too weak for apples, said the boy. My branches are gone, said the tree. You cannot swing on them. I am too old to swing on branches, said the boy. My trunk is gone, said the tree. You cannot climb. I am too tired to climb, said the boy. I am sorry, sighed the tree. I wish I could give you something, but I have nothing left. I am just an old stump. I am sorry. I don't need very much now, said the boy. Just a quiet place to sit and rest. I am very tired. Well, said the tree, straightening herself up as much as she could. Well, an old stump is good for sitting and resting. Come, boy, sit down and rest. And the boy did. And the tree was happy. The end. Now let's think about that for a moment. What objects did you notice in the book? I'll give you a second to check your list. So what do you think the tree represents in this story? What sort of thing in someone's life could be someone or something that we take and take and take from and don't really think about it? I feel like Dora the Explorer, like I'm waiting for you to answer. If you answered a parent, then you are correct. This whole entire book is an allegory for how basically children and all through our lives, we take and take and take, and our parents give and give and give and don't look for anything much in return. So it's a really neat allegory for children taking, everything they need from parents and parents giving all of that back to their children. So it's kind of a neat thought. It's a little bit sad if you think about it. And that's why it's interesting to put in perspective. I bet if you thought for a little bit, have you said thank you recently? Have you, appreciated some of the things that you have because your parents work hard or whoever's at home? So it's kind of an interesting thought. And that's why I really like this book, to show the concept of an allegory. All right, so let's check your sheet and see if your list kind of looks like mine. The bad news is my handwriting is still terrible and I couldn't type it. So you're back to watching my terrible handwriting. So try your best. I will try to decipher it for you. So if we take a look at the beginning of the story with the childhood, and all of the things that the boy is doing are things that we did when we were little, playing, using our imagination, climbing, eating, sleeping, and feeling safe, and showing that unconditional love. That's representing the way the boy feels about the tree, is just the way that we felt about our parents when we were really little. They were the people that we got everything from, okay? Then, and I love this part, when it gets to the teen section, if you notice early on, the tree, and I actually didn't notice this till the second time through. The tree, early on, has a little carving, and it says me plus T, meaning it's the boy and the tree. So it's all about when you're little and you get everything from your parents, it's all about you and your parents, okay? Or the boy and the tree. Then, when you notice, when the teenage part starts coming around, ooh, there's a second set of carvings. And that's supposed to represent when we became teenagers, or you guys are in the process, me, a long time ago. This is when you start to pull away a little from the tree, and other people also start being important to you because you have other people in your circle. You end up having relationships, friendships, relationships with significant others, any kind of relationship. You start building your circle, and it's not just you and your parents anymore. We also, when we get to be teens, we love to buy things. And yes, my dog is walking through the shot because that's the kind of high production studio that we have here. And scene. Okay. Then when the little boy becomes an adult, we notice that his choices have changed. Now he wants a house and he wants a wife and kids, and it's sort of like as they get older, again, what priorities become important to them. So as an adult, we see the man trying to get more out of the tree that has to do with what you would need when you were an adult. And then finally, towards the end, there's a really interesting piece when the boy becomes very old. It's sort of like when he wants the boat, he wants to escape the life that has become, okay? He maybe is unhappy with where he's at and what is going on, or maybe he's having trouble coping with the whole idea of being older. Then we see at the very, very end that it's almost like he's finally at peace with it. I don't need any of those other things. I would just like to sit and rest and be with you, the tree. So it's sort of an interesting thing. He finally sees the value that's left in the tree and doesn't need anything more from her, that he realizes that, you know what, I am at peace and here we are. So it's a very interesting thing, and it sort of mirrors, allegory, what people go through with their parents when they go from basically relying on them for everything to starting to pull away to starting their own family to coming back around and sort of understanding where everything fits in. And that's something that happens when you get older too, that you sort of get more of a perspective of where everything is. And it's sort of an interesting time. So it's a really neat book in that respect. What I thought we could do this week is you could write your own version of an allegory. You could either write it as a story or as a poem, whatever you prefer. So you need to choose either a current or historical issue, event, or person that you're going to write about. And you're basically going to think about the beginning, middle, and end of that issue, story, or person, or event. Then you're going to choose a symbol and basically have the symbol go through a beginning, middle, end that represents what happened in that event, issue, or to that person. And I will actually send a worksheet through Remind to help you kind of do that. And then maybe we could kind of share, if anybody wants to, we could share some of the best stories with one another and see who came up with some really, really cool stuff. But don't feel like you have to, because I won't make you, don't worry. Just like in class. It'll be okay. So give me your best stories and poems. I'm really excited to see what you come up with, and in the form of your own personal allegory.
All right, guys. So I decided that it might be a good idea to demonstrate a little bit what this is all about. So I have filled out the worksheet a little bit for you, so I'm going to kind of walk it through as we go. So I'm going to do it as if I am doing a short story. To me, that would be really, really fun. So I picked, as you know, you guys who know me, the thing that I love most is, of course, teaching. So I would choose that as my issue, event, or person. So in thinking about teaching, the different parts of being a teacher, one part of it is definitely teaching actual information to students and watching them sort of get better at things that maybe they previously were not good at. Another big part of my job that I love is helping students become better people. My hope is that when they leave me, they're maybe a little bit better than when they came in. That's my goal. And then part 3, sort of the ending, is that I hope that what I've taught them stays with them in the future, and that they end up using some of the things that they learned in my classroom. So in thinking about a symbol that represents all these things, I kind of thought of a teacher as a gardener. And if you think of a gardener, the equivalent of teaching information would be sort of planting the seeds, seeds of knowledge, if you will. I think the helping students become better part would be in the watering and tending to the plants that the gardener would do. There's a lot that goes into keeping plants alive and making sure that they have everything that they need. And then as far as the future part of it, I think that would be if the gardener looked out and saw that the entire sort of backyard was filled with these beautiful flowering plants, and that would sort of be a testament to his hard work. So that would sort of be, it's going to be my overall plan for my story. So then I'll probably move down to the beginning, middle, and end. The beginning of my story, looking up at my little planner, I'm going to have the gardener spending some time planting the seeds, because a lot even goes into planting seeds. You can't plant them too far down into the soil. You can't plant them too high up. You can't water them too much or too little, which is a problem that I have often. And then looking at the middle part, is going to be, if I'm going to write my story, I'm going to have the gardener sort of watering, tending to the plants, and being worried about them with all these different things that are happening to them. So I think that would be an interesting way to sort of show that is going on. For the ending, because I like when things kind of end happy. I think it would be really cool if the gardener sort of worried that maybe something happened to all the plants after a big storm. And then he goes out to find that everything not only is okay, but has blossomed and become even bigger than before. And I think that would be a really pretty allegory for what it's like to be a teacher. So I'm hoping that you guys can kind of use this as I would show you in the class. We would usually do one as a mock one together, but now this kind of gives you an idea. And if you pick the poem, same kind of thing, you'll use the planning sheet, but instead you're going to make it pick a rhyme scheme instead of filling out the beginning, middle, end.
So this is a segment that I like to call Mrs. Salas's dog doesn't care about ELA. And as you can see, I've got Jack here who's trying to figure out how this works. But he really doesn't care about ELA. I'm going to attempt to tell him about an extended metaphor, and we're going to see how it goes. Hey, Jack, come here. Come here. I have something very exciting to share with you. Are you excited? So an extended metaphor. Do you see that? You don't care. Right here. So a metaphor that, as we know, it's a comparison between two things, and without losing like or as we know. He doesn't know that. But when it happens over a bunch of lines in writing, you're not even looking at me. That's just rude. I feel, really? Can you, right here? No? I don't even know how to feel about this right now. I'm just trying to teach you about extended metaphor. No? Are you ready? Oh, that's just inappropriate. Your language. This is for children. Well, I'm sorry. I guess we're going to have to wrap this up. Thanks for tuning in, and we will be back. Not him, I guess. He won't be back. Maybe he will. I don't know. But we're going to tune in next time for the next exciting episode of the Salas Palace. Thanks for joining us.
We're doing the best we can. I forgot the end of the line.
You got me in the head. That was good.